again, were someone that I was so excited to have back because
Thank
I
you.
love this record. I am like one of those people that like whenever I see your TikTok or anything, I'm like, I am pushing this. Like this
Means a
needs to be
lot.
out here because I love music. I love the bands that I talk to and I see, but sometimes it's like no one I've had on, but just in general on the internet, it's all polished. It's so much polish. And there's a
Sure.
time and a place for that. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I like some music that is just that polished quality, but like
Yeah.
when I heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, this needs like I almost felt like the proud mama of a podcast to
Aw,
have had you guys on and then hear it. Um, it's just so good. So like how have you been since
you.
it's been out? Because like it was August of last year, right?
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, what a whirlwind. The last few months, to be honest, we had been kind of quiet. We played like one or two shows after our album release because I was having issues with my voice. So I needed some time to heal and recover and work on it. And but at the end of this month, we're gonna be hitting the road for a few days. We're stopping in Philly, we're stopping in New Jersey, we're stopping in New York City. So I'm super excited. As far as after the album, people have been really receptive and cool. Um, like I don't know if it's just my friends, but other my friends have been messaging me like, "Hey, I really like this song. It reminds me of like blank. It reminds me of this." And I don't know. I'm just like I, I feel like all I can really do at this point is just be grateful. It feels so good to spread the good news of thick bitch punk rock. So
I love yeah, I love that. I know Justine always loved that too. Like, I think she has a shirt. I think it was the one that like and she was like, I love how like whenever I see like a reel or anything too, it's just like the presence of it, right? Like it's like I don't know, at least for me and what I'm into and the music I'm into that like in your face music. And it's like, again, I love the fancy stuff that people do, but I'm like, I just love the stuff that sounds like I'm in some little tiny hole in the wall venue and it's loud
yeah,
and in my face. Like, that's what I want. And I think too, like, when dealing with everything, like if you have an issue with your voice, because like again, I know it's not on the same scale, but if I have that even, right? And I go through on a little scale, I can sort of resonate a little bit. Like, how do you deal with it almost mentally a little bit to be like, I need this. I need to do this, but like this is holding me
yeah.
back.
Um, I'm gonna be honest, at first I was really depressed.
Yeah.
It was really hard because I mean like I sing all the time and of course with the band and other times I have sang and if I was like kind of feeling kind of weird in my throat, I would just like shut up for a few days and it would kind of sort of self out. But this time it was different and I was like, ooh, this isn't getting better. It's been weeks. So um yeah, it was really difficult, but I am I to me, music is one of the most motivating things ever. So even though it was super hard, I think it was like definitely a reason to get better. Now I'm singing, I used to like sing like 3 times a week, warm up my voice, work through all the hard stuff that's tough for me. But now I'm singing, 5, 6 times a week. And I think that was something that I had planned to be a goal for myself in the past. But now I'm doing it. Even though I'm doing like, the warm-ups that aren't really fun, then singing through a straw. It's I think this is going to be good for me long term. I kind of think of it the same way that like when you go to the gym, at least for me, it's never it's I think it's just going to the gym, but with your voice to ultimately have a very good, fulfilling long life. And if I want to continue doing this, which like I have to try, I need to do this. So that was the motivation.
Yeah, because like that's the thing too. Like And that's such a thing too. Like I can relate to that because I've recently started taking, because I took a dip in my mental health where it was like, all right, like even before I got like that big opportunity, I was like really down on myself and just really down. And I
Mhm.
realized I haven't gone outside. I haven't gone to the gym. I haven't moved my body in like a while. Like I haven't done those
Yeah.
things. And it's like, again, like if I want to be my best self and I want to do that and be good at what I'm doing here and all that, like I need to get in there. And it
Yep.
was like, it took, like, it wasn't easy at first. It was one of those things I struggled with. And I think so many of us, whether it is like, you're in a band or, whether it's your instrument is your voice or your instrument is your guitar or whatever it is, like how therapeutic it looks like to be able to use that. And then when you can't, it's almost like taken from you for a little bit. I can't imagine that. It has to be so just, it's like you were saying, like, it's just so scary to be like, what am I going to do if this doesn't get better? Like, how am I going to get out of that? And it's like, I think about the bands when they go play shows or on tours, like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Because you're every night and then it's not like tour. What I'm learning, like, with everybody that comes on here is not like, it's not like how I imagine when I have my date and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna see my favorite band play and it's gonna be so great. But like there's a lot that goes into that of
Hmm.
playing a show and the logistics of it. And especially like a band like yourself, like you're doing so much on your own. So
Yep.
then you go and it's like, all right, we got to go do that. So difficult.
It's I think that there is this perception of rock star that's very like, let's go, let's party, let's do
Right.
this, let's do that. But for me, it's very, very disciplined. Um, I mean, one of the big motivators for me going to the gym is so that I can put on a good show live. I really just want to be able to like go crazy with it. And then I don't drink on tour at all. I don't do anything on tour. I'm totally sober when we tour
Hmm.
because I have to be, because I'm very sensitive to alcohol. I'm very sensitive to other substances. I don't do any of that because I can't. If we can't play the next day, then we're all SOL. We don't get paid. We don't we don't get to play. We don't get to, be there for the other bands that put the show together for us or helped us figure it out. It is very much a discipline. And for me, that little outburst, the show is like the me going wild part. That is the only part of my life. I feel like I really tap into that rock star mode, but
Hmm.
everything else outside of that, it's like, okay, rest, recovery, strength. Let's build our strength. Let's take a nap. There's a lot of rock stars. Dude, a while ago, maybe last year, we played with this band, who had the complete opposite energy.
Right.
And they were like a bigger band, like a mid-sized band. They
Mhm.
travel cross country and do that kind of thing pretty frequently. And they showed up and started taking shots, which I'm not judging anyone for doing. Hell
Right.
yeah, live your truth,
Right.
sick. But I was just like, I got tired just like watching them take shots and like go crazy. And then after the show, they kind of invited us to party with them. And I was like, I appreciate it, but I'm gonna go home,
Hmm.
go to bed.
Oh, I feel that because like I can't imagine because I'm one of those people that I am, what is it? This year will be year 3 that I'm completely sober from alcohol. It was a choice I've had to make
Oh my
and
gosh, congrats.
it was like really, really, it was tough and that was my crutch. But when I go to shows now and I see people,
Yes.
or if I get this opportunity to go like in the back and like talk to a band, it's like
Yeah,
it is a different element there at shows, and a
100%.
lot more bands are taking the path of, hey, we're not. But then there are those bands and just the people in the crowd that are like, yeah, we're gonna have fun. And again, to each their own. I'm one of those people, but
Totally.
I, as so removed from like alcohol consumption, I'm just like, I'm, I remember that, and I can't do that. And to each their own. Like I just,
Yeah.
oh, to be young and like be able to do that. It's like one of those things of like, uh, Yeah, that's mental health too, like doing all that stuff and like being able to like kind of have that um just feeling of, hey, I'm not going to partake because I know
Yeah,
like I have to do this because you love to do this. This is obviously like your passion. And I
it
know a
really
lot of this
is.
record, like Hallucinations, what is about that and living that dream and all of that.
Yes,
And this little like I feel like the little engine that could, right? Like I feel like to describe this
absolutely.
record and it's like for you, it's like having it out. Um, do you feel it's like, oh, okay, I'm so happy that I've gotten this part of ourselves out. Like everything we put into this, it's out there for everybody to consume, whether they love or hate it, but like you love it and you're so happy it's out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Gosh, I think back to when we did like a run of shows for the album release, and we played 4 shows in a row. It was great. It was tiring, but really good. And the last show was our hometown show in DC. And every other show I felt really good about, but for some reason, our hometown show I was like really nervous about. And I think it was just because like I knew like all of my friends were gonna be there.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I wasn't nervous about like what strangers thought. I was like, yeah, they're gonna dig it. But for some reason, like my friends, the DC community, I was like, are they gonna like it?
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a lot for me, um, because I felt that the record was really, really personal to me in a lot of ways. And it's just suddenly like, let me just like zip open my chest and here's all of my word vomit. Um,
Yeah.
enjoy. Um, I mean, ultimately, super, super proud of the record. I am super grateful. Because half of that record was crowdfunded.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, I mean, I think that is just proof that like we have such an incredible, awesome community. And I'm super grateful that they believed in us and, opened up their wallets for us. That's crazy. And I am just so gracious, so grateful. I'm super proud of the record. It's awesome. And on another hand, it was very vulnerable because a lot of it felt, like my diary out loud. So,
Yeah. Oh, and you can hear that. And that's one of those things too. I I've asked a couple people I've had on recently that, and we sort of get on that conversation of how do you almost protect yourself when you are putting out these songs, right? Because that's a part of you and that's you. But it's to people you know, people you don't know. And it's like, and 9 times out of 10, everybody has kind of responded of, you can't. You really can't. Like when you put yourself out there, there is no almost like protecting yourself anymore. Like it's
yeah,
there.
I feel like you have to have really thick skin. I I kind of envy some of those artists that will like wear a mask and that's like,
Yeah.
how they present themselves to the world. That's really cool. Um, too bad I didn't think of that earlier. But
I feel you.
yeah, but as far as like how can you protect yourself? For me, that's routine. For me,
hmm
that's like making sure that I, am not spending 18 hours a day online.
Yeah.
That's
I
that's making sure for me, that's honestly whenever we get hate comments or, just nasty comments, I don't bother my time with it anymore. Sometimes
hmm
I would like kind of get angry and respond, but like I just don't think that it's worth my time. It's not worth my energy. It never makes me feel good and it just usually ends up just escalating the situation. So we're not responding anymore. And sometimes like I just delete them because like
hmm Yes.
and that's fine. I don't want to look at it. And then like my friends don't want to see that. Actually, one of my good friends, we had one of our videos kind of go a little crazy last year for all the wrong reasons. There's just like these horrible dudes in our comments just saying all kinds of stuff about me, about my body, about how I performed, whatever.
Hmm.
And one of my ride or dies, one of my like very good friends, she like reported every single comment. I'm like,
Love that. That is
it's
the better approach than like when I'll get them too sometimes, and I either delete like you said, and or I try to get mad, or I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. But then when like people start to like those comments, right? Like that's when it gets me. If like somebody writes something mean, and then there's multiple people liking it, and I'm just like trying to have thick skin, trying. You have to do that. It's easier said than done, though. And I love that you to ride or die. Be like, listen, no, we're not going to play this way. We're going to report you.
yes. I definitely didn't have the energy to like go through every single comment about
Right.
like some dude just saying whatever the fuck about me. No.
Hmm.
But I think part of it is just, yeah, it's routine. It's like having I, someone explained to me that like being an adult is like being your own parent.
Hmm.
And I think when stuff like that happens, I have to, take a step back and be like, okay, if I was parenting myself, what would I say in this situation?
Yeah.
Maybe you should get offline and do something else and let's just not look at our phone for a while.
Hmm. It does wonders. Like I know everyone always says too, like for a while, the holidays gave me that grace of like, normally I'm like, okay, I need to post something because the algorithms, I need to do this. But I took that break for like a whole week and it was amazing to like not be on there and not on the internet.
Yep.
Um, and it's like I think that's finding the balance, right? Because everybody says like if especially if you're in a band, it's how you get yourself out there, or even like this, like it's how you get yourself out there. But like sometimes it's like the most healthiest thing you can do is to like step away, get away from it.
Yeah.
Because like I'll find myself doom scrolling. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I on here? And it's been an hour. Like,
Yeah.
what have I accomplished? Nothing. And it's tough. And yeah, and the keyboard warriors, I I'm learning to deal. I'm learning to deal. I'll get there eventually. I'm a big baby. Like I think I had Sal, who's amazing from like Gato Black, a wonderful person. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
And he had said too, he's like, I'm a big baby. And like me hearing that, like someone else saying like they're a big baby with that, and like it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's okay that I'm a baby and like that affects me and my mental health. And I have to like be like, all right, I can be
I
creative
think
in other
it's
ways.
so beautiful to be sensitive,
Hmm.
especially in the world that we live in. I think that it's many of us are conditioned to turn it off, to kind of like shut it out and not let ourselves experience the world and experience other people's like hardships and sadness and or even our own.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's so important to be able to look at another human being or even at yourself, because sometimes that's hard too, to be
Yeah.
like, it's going to be okay. I feel this sucks. And sometimes you have to sit in the suck, and then sometimes you gotta, you know, give yourself a pep talk.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's this whole rhetoric about like, you know, snowflake, whatever, blah. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I really appreciate people that are empathetic, and
Hmm.
something that like really makes me drawn to another person is like, how do you love other people?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I can just feel that. And that is, yeah. And that's like, even doing this, like I gravitate towards, like, whenever I have someone that I want to come on, I kind of look at, like, how do they react to people online? How are they? How do they t speak to women? How do they speak to just human beings on the internet? How do they speak to them? How are they? Um, because I want to surround myself not only like personally, but like, with this creative project with people that are like on in that same wavelength, that are in that same way. And I think it's important, it's like, yeah, to me, that's like
Yeah.
you're rich if you are that person that is just empathetic and wearing your heart on your sleeve and you are just yourself and you feel deeply for people. Yeah, you're the richest
Yeah.
person in my mind.
I saw an interview with Serge from System of a Down,
Hmm.
and he said something so beautiful. It was like he said basically there are people that don't think things are connected and then people that do.
Hmm.
And I was like, that makes so much sense. You're so right.
Yeah, no, and like kind of to channel Surge a little bit, we have to talk about Forget Your Name because that song on this record, your delivery of I love you, but fuck you, it's the way you say it. I'm just like, okay, I need to like let me listen to that again. And it's the way your delivery of it is just so it's real. We have been there. And much like you're talking about too, where like there is so much vulnerability on this record and just I felt
Definitely.
that. I am in a really great relationship. I am just so happily in that with my person, but I felt that. And like for
Yeah,
you, like saying those words and that delivery of that, almost when like recording it, did you feel like everything you felt there, like you were there back at that place. Like, do you feel that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So that is a really interesting song that you bring up. I'm glad that you brought it up. That's one of those songs that's definitely very much my diary out loud.
Yeah.
It was about a relationship that I was in where I felt like I was giving everything and getting pretty much nothing back.
Hmm.
And um the it was like the breaking point for me in sort of figuring out, wait, oh shit, I need to love myself more than I like this other person. And I think that's a really difficult lesson to learn.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, don't figure it out. And I mean, the base of the song itself was about like a relationship that I had, but that there's that part at the end where I'm like yelling. And another weird fact of this song is I was really sick when we recorded it. Like I had bronchitis real bad, but we couldn't like book other time. Um, so it was tough. That was like one of the last songs that we recorded when we recorded like the first half of the record, and we booked basically a weekend to get it done. And so yeah, the end when I start yelling, that was originally at that last part, we had a different member in our band who ended up leaving the band that week before we went into the studio. So there was a part there where this previous band member had a verse, and that was like their thing. So we actually wrote that in the studio, that last part, the last yelly part, and it kind of changed the meaning of the song for me a little bit because it was more directed at like this sort of loss that I was currently having at the time. And it wasn't just about like, you know, a romantic relationship, but this can happen within your friendships too.
Hmm.
It sucks. It sucks, but sometimes you got to be like, I got to invest in myself before I pour into you. And a lot of that definitely came out during Forget Your Name.
And I can, yeah, and much like you just said, like friendships, like immediately that's where I went, right? Like of
Mm.
I've been there and it is so difficult. But I think in terms of like loving yourself too, it's so important to put yourself first in that aspect. And I know it's easier said than done, especially if it's a close friend, but like part of 2025 for me was that. Like I felt that like when I listened to this
Damn.
song because like by me sort of like putting myself first and saying like no, that's like that's not okay. Like that's not really good for me. I still wish you the best. This is great. Because I never want to see anyone. I'm still that person. Like I don't want to be awful, but it's like you're just not we're not on the same page anymore and we kind of have to go our separate ways, but like still rooting for you in life. There we go. But
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, like it just it hits. And I think too anyone listening or watching like it's so cool when there's a song like that that can be for a relationship, but not just like, okay, your partner that you're romantically with, because like in life, we have so many different relationships with people, even people you work with, people in just in general in life that affects that. So it's like, man, like I said,
Totally.
I felt that. I was just like, I feel this. I feel the way that this is being sung right now. And yeah, I have to turn it up. And like another one is obviously No Youth, No Future. We have to talk about that one at the minute mark. That breakdown, I was like, I need to, hopefully, I'm going to really, really try to get to this Jersey show, but like, I need to see that. Like, that
Yeah,
made
dude.
me, it's like so just, again, just proud because like when we had you on, it was, gosh, like what, 2 years ago? It
Oh,
had
really?
to,
Holy moly. Has it been
it,
that long?
I have to go back and look. It had to have been. And like, um, or maybe not. And my days are just what, but whatever it was so, but just so proud to like hear that song come out of you guys and just like, yeah, like let's
Thank
get it. Like
you.
let's open up the pit. Like let's go.
Yeah, yeah. So I have been a hardcore fan a super long time. And yes, I mean, one of my favorite bands ever is The Chariot. Rest in peace to The Chariot.
Yes.
And I've always loved them. I've always like joked that like if I ever wrote a hardcore song, it would be like really goofy, like pet a dog, love your friends, and that would be the song. But I'm trying to remember. There was like, oh, okay. We wrote the riff and like had like the structure of the song down, and I had kind of an idea of what I wanted to do with it lyrically. But I think what happened that sort of fueled the fire for those lyrics is that there was like a mass shooting somewhere.
Hmm.
The reality that we live in is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it made me think of the times where when I worked in education and the drills that we had to run with the kids and my parents are teachers, my sister's a teacher, and it just made me think about like especially the youth around the world that are subjected to violence that has nothing to do with them and
Hmm.
they're just trying to live their lives and it made me really angry. And I don't really consider myself a person that like gets angry, but in that moment, I was fucking pissed off. No youth, no future, like is the title. Without the youth, we don't have a future. And as someone that is, on the cusp of no longer being in my youth, like we got to make sure that we're protecting and passing on good things for the younger generations because I feel like we keep passing down all this bullshit to them.
Yeah.
And there's people around the world that are subjected to this violence. Like, I mean, I thought of the kids in Palestine, I thought of the kids in Gaza, I thought of like the kids in the United States. It's a mess. And I am frequently getting frustrated with this system that we live in as far as like there's all this violence going on and nothing is being done about it. And I also feel like the youth, like young people, are typically leading the way as far as like progressive ideas and policies. Yet at the same time, young people by older folks are looked down upon and called like kids. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's insane. I really do believe that the youth are an oppressed group. Like children, like I think of like everything going on with the Epstein files right now, and
Oh,
it's it's so loaded. It's so like yeah, I'm talking about the youth, but there's so much of this that's interwoven into everything that's going on in the political sphere. So when we say in that chorus, this weight is crushing me. God, I feel like this shit's happening every day.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. It's so I'm someone that works in with kids, much littler kids, but I constantly think about them as, oh God, I'm going to be 40 next month. Oh gosh, I'm not in my youth anymore. But like, it's one of those things of like,
that's awesome.
I,
Congrats.
oh my God, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, it's a weird like feeling, but like even to think about like when I grew up, right, you had so much like, oh, we're gonna do this or accomplish this, and you kind of had more of a future. I felt, at least when I was younger, at least I thought that, right? Probably all around me, chaos was happening, and I was like a
Sure.
teenager and whatever. But like now, it's like I do worry about these little kids that are like growing
Yeah.
up, and I think about them and just the world we live in. And like you said, every day, probably as we're talking, there are things going on outside of our homes right now, and it's like it's so hard. And it kind of goes back to the empathy thing of like, I don't get why people, I think it was Ryan of Scary Hours, which I just adore. I adore him in that band. But like he had said, because I had said, like, hey, it's really difficult when people aren't empathetic. I'm always like, why don't they care about the future? Why don't they? And he had said, it's because sometimes those people haven't been othered in their life. And when someone's not othered, in that way,
Mm,
they typically aren't going to react. But if he goes, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure you've been othered and
sure.
this,
Yeah.
and it's like I never really thought of it in that way. And when I think about the people that I know personally that lack that empathy or like even AI, like I can get in a whole rant about that right now, and
Yeah.
that people don't care about it. And I get so heated, like over the holidays, I got so heated over AI and like our kids
Yeah.
growing up, right? All these children growing up, and like, are they going to have a world to grow up in? Like, what are we doing? There's safety, right, online with the AI. And I don't have Twitter. I got rid of that because I was like, screw Elon Musk. I'm not having Twitter. I don't care.
Sure.
But it's one of those things of like, I heard what's going on over there and like Grok or whatever it's called and undressing children. And it just is like, this is
It's
awful.
horrifying.
This is horrifying that I mean, I always knew it would be horrifying with the use of AI, but it's like, we're not even like really in the thick of it yet, right? And like, it's only going to
Mhm.
get worse. And I worry about the kids. I like, for me, like I said, like, all right, I'm going to be 40 and like, knock on wood, I hope I have a long lasting life. But these children that are growing up and are young, it's like, dude, you, what does your future look like? I'm scared for you.
Yeah, that's so valid. Um, I mean, one of the reasons that why I left education we was this wasn't the main reason, but there was an element of there were so many adults around me that didn't empathize with like the students that they had.
Yeah.
And that was really frustrating just because I don't know, these are people that you spend all day with. And also, I worked in special ed.
Mhm.
So there was also, disability that comes into play as well. And yeah, it's super frustrating. I have nephews, I have a niece, I have been a nanny. I don't plan on having my own children, but I don't know. You don't remember being a kid, you don't remember like being othered, you don't remember being picked on, you don't. And also, there's just like a whole new layer of kids growing up now with technology. It's really
Mhm.
scary. I remember seeing like an article, maybe, gosh, was that a few weeks ago, about like a person, like a middle school girl's classmates, like making like AI stuff of her and her being punished and them getting no repercussions at all.
Yeah, I think I heard of that too. Like that.
Absolutely insane.
And it is. It's just it gets me where like I said, like the song itself, the like tone, I was like, yeah, like I love Heart of the Chariot. That brought me back. Like the Chariot, like Chariot, Norma Jean, all of that.
Yes.
Like I love that music. And for me, it's so funny when like I'll say that because people will be like, "What?" And I was like, "Listen, I know ball. You don't think I do, but like that's what I grew up in. Like those
Hello.
places. Like let's go. I know that stuff." And it's like for me, it's like, yeah, the tones of that song, but like when you get into the message of it, and I think it pairs it perfectly with that. Because there's like so many personalities on like each song where it's like there's a personality here, and like I
Yeah.
hear this, and I love that like in a record you get that because I'm a record person. I know we're a singles world. I know everybody says here's like gives 15 seconds to like get your attention. I love to sit like with a record and hear it and then be like, well, I really like that. Like, okay, I
We
like that personality a lot. That's different.
totally. I think our society is going to be shifting back to records
Yeah.
soon. And then also I think we didn't really do this super intentionally at first, but we kind of I feel like we wrote a different genre song. Like almost every song is like kind of a different flavor of music. I feel like it's all generally kind of rock music, but we have one song that's very pop punk. We have one song that's like hardcore punk. We have one song that's like alt rock. I it's kind of funny that we kind of danced all over the rock and roll world.
And I love that because it's like, I don't, and maybe it is because I'm getting older or just like what I'm shifting towards with music. I don't want to hear like the same song in 10 different ways. Like, I want to be like, we're like, all right, I'm feeling that. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on
Right.
that. Like, and feel that. And I think that a lot of people just, I know why they play it safe. I get it. The music industry is in a really weird place right now. I
Yeah.
can't even get started in AI in that realm, right? Like it's in a really
Uh,
weird place. And like how artists have to shift and be, and especially on your level, right? Like I think people forget that like I just talked to you, I think it was Mike of Ghost Tour. He was on and we were talking about local scenes and like how going to those big shows that we love are so important. Like your My Chem, your um what was another big one this year? Oh my gosh, when we were young, any of those. But like
yeah.
when I talk to people, like even in friends I know, the majority of are they seeing that local band or that non-local band that's coming to play with their local band? Are they going to those shows? And nine times out of ten, it's like, no, like we're not. And it's like I think in here in Jersey, there's a great scene. Like, depending on when you go to Asbury Park, I know like the venue is more of a venue thing. Like they only let certain bands play and this and that, which kind of
Sure.
sucks. But like, it's like the bands that I've seen, they're such a community, and it's like we have to support. Like when you're coming through here, like I would love if people were like, all right, I'm going to go to that. I'm going to check that out. I saw them on TikTok or they're on this bill with people that we know because it's like great stuff happens in those small rooms.
I think you said it beautifully. My I mean, don't get me wrong. My life has definitely changed by getting into MCR. That was definitely a gateway band for
Sure.
me. But my life changed dramatically more by going to the first local show that I went to. I was maybe, my dad brought me because it was like one of his students. I was maybe like 11 seeing this like local band play and it blew my mind. So that was like the trajectory for me. Like, okay,
Yes.
maybe I could do this music thing. Yeah, I feel like, the big shows are great. The big shows are definitely like camaraderie, but when you're involved in the local scene, you're also like building it too.
Hmm.
So you have a hand in how things are going. Some of my friends that make art, we invite them to like help us do merch in exchange for like putting up their art or something at our merch table. So like then they're involved too. And then we have some friends that are involved in the music scene by taking photos, by doing art for us, by I don't know, just showing up sometimes is just it
Yeah.
makes the world. It's there's nothing like a community that is going to show the fuck up for you. And I feel like there's something about a local music scene that just feels so good and so pure.
Yes, and that's 1,000% of like when you said that, like when I was younger, I went to shows, but getting into my local scene was like, that was the gateway to lasting friendships. That was also meeting certain people. I realized I don't really want to associate with you, but I'll be cool with you. And like learning that, but also like being in those rooms and like the acceptance of like we're all here to check this out. And those were my weekends. Like that was it. And then when I moved here to New Jersey and didn't know anybody, I was so scared and I was like, can I go to these local shows? Am I accepted? Like I don't know anybody here. What do I do? And there were so many times I would like pull up in my car and like not go in because I was just scared. But I think
Oh,
there was one show I went to and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna whatever. And if I go and I leave a little bit, I get uncomfortable, whatever. The minute I walked in, it was almost like, okay, I'm home.
yeah.
Like I'm here. And like the constant support I get, even in the podcast, are from people that I've met here in this scene. It is
Yeah.
not like um it's not like anybody else. And it's such a special thing of just like you said too, they're so excited. Like there was this band who I'm gonna go see play again. They were on the podcast. They're called Roderick and so kind. I went to go see them play like randomly in May and I was like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna make sure I go, I'll be there. And I went there and they were just like so thankful that I actually showed up. Like that getting people to show up is like you said, like, simply just showing up is so important. And I saw that. It was almost like that like that kid and like a play and the parent shows up and like showing up matters. It was like kind of felt
Right.
like that. Not that I'm their parent, but it was like, yeah, that matters. Like I inspired me to be like, how do we get more people to come out? Like what do we do in 2026? You know, like what do we do? Because like
Yeah.
it's tough. And I hope people get inspired to go see people play and realize that like these bigger shows are so great, but like these little rooms and like I'm not going to say little bands because I hate that. I hate that term. There's no little band. It's a band. And I think that you can really resonate with like a band you maybe don't even think of, but you go see them play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once you get involved in your local scene, you're then a part of it and you are a part of something so much bigger. And I mean, one of the things that I really appreciate about the DC scene is how vocal people are about just world issues. And it's it's great because a lot of bands in the DC scene, especially right now, they're doing a lot of benefit shows. They're doing a lot of shows that go towards organizations. Um, all the benefit or all the proceeds will go towards organizations, and it makes me feel good to be surrounded by people that care. And I think that
Yeah.
again goes back to that empathy thing that we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah,
It's so important to have that. And I love that. That's one of the things I've heard about DC. I've never been, but that scene in general, and you even see it on the bigger level of like Turnstile. And like I know someone will kill me. Oh,
yeah,
well, they're big. Uh, Listen, I know they are big. However, they still have that mentality of I know when they played in DC at that park.
it was in
And
Baltimore. I was there.
that's yes, that's where and they had like I remember on the side they had a bunch of resources for people I've heard and like
Yeah,
organizations and like they gave back and it's like that's instilled in you from the time you're in like that scene and then when you grow older you're like forever like being in those hardcore rooms I'm like that's why I feel the way I do about social issues and just having the empathy is because I grew up in those spaces and had I not I mean I'm sure I would with my parents but like that's what shaped me. And like seeing a bigger band
yeah,
like that, be like, this is where where we started. We still did it and we're still doing it.
yeah, yeah, totally. I definitely feel like a lot of the music that I listened to growing up. It really makes sense, like the person that I turned into
Yeah.
that really cares about social issues. I mean, I don't know. I think every so often Green Day will trend because some person's like, no one told me Green Day was woke. And I'm like, have you listened to Green
Yeah. Yeah. Where have you been in the what, 30-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably more. 30, yeah, like years they've been around.
Yeah, they like guys, they had a whole record about how they didn't like the Bush administration and
Hmm.
how they were anti-war. And then I think about MCR and like when they were really in the height of their popularity, they were talking about LGBTQ people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could go on, but it's, yeah, I feel so good being involved in my local music scene just because there's so many people that care and that care about not only like the world around us, but like just making art and being together and togetherness and just good vibes. It's so, yeah, the DC music community is truly incredible. I'm so, so grateful.
I love that. And like you sound like too, like when I listen to all the different bands I have on here, like some are from California, some are from here, there. But like when I hear Soulmate's Body, I'm like, yeah, that would be an East Coast. Like that's just the East Coast sound. Like that is East Coast in your face. And I know it because I live here now and I'm like, yeah, like that's why I too, I'm like, I love Chicago, but like there's always something special about the East Coast. And now that I'm here, I'm like, yeah, I was gonna be that person out here because I love just that sound. And I guess too, like before I let you go, I would love to hear like one like manifestation for 2026 because now I can't believe we're in 2026. I don't
Oh,
know
that's
where the time
crazy.
went. I don't know, but so what can we manifest this year for Soul Meets Body?
For Soulmate's Body, um, we had a band meeting recently where we talked about how we want to take advantage of every opportunity that we have to play. And just the other day, we were talking about eventually going to the UK because someone had commented on our TikTok one day, like, hey, come to Manchester. It was like, there's people listening to us in Manchester.
That's
What? That's
right.
crazy. So yeah, my manifestation for Soulmate's Body is to play somewhere where we've never played before, away from home. And then for Soulmate's Body, but also for the world, I think I just need to expand this just because of the state of the world right now.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna do an audience cleanse for the both of us, for the both of us. First of all, fuck ICE for fucking ever. Um, Trans people, you deserve better. Black people, you deserve better. People of color, you deserve better. And then also the next elections that are coming up in everyone's local community. If you live in the United States, it is the most important election that's going to happen maybe in our lifetimes. Go get involved with a local organization and start rallying behind a candidate that's actually going to do something about what is going on.
Mic drop. So that is what we need. And yeah, and anyone young listening or anyone just listening, I think so many people like get involved in your communities and also just get actually like someone that's going to do something because I will say right now, like I don't know what the hell is going on in the world or who's in charge or who is willing to fight, right? Like fight for everybody. And I think
Right.
that's what's got me so frustrated about the world right now because it's like every day I'm like, yeah, just today we heard about what ICE was doing and somebody lost their lives. Not it's not the first, and I know it won't be the last. And I was like talking to my fiance, just so frustrated that like,
Yeah.
where are we that this is going on? And people can debate all along about like, well, this president, I know ICE is nothing new. However, we can all agree like what's going on now, yeah, in a different world than what we've had before. And that doesn't mean what happened before was okay, but like I had one of my favorite restaurants here. Um, the cook. was taken by ICE, and he is thankfully he is back with his family. He is okay, but by okay because going through that and being detained and everything like that. But like I'm just like, in what world? And then some people started to care because they're like, oh, that's my favorite restaurant. No, you should care about everybody as a collective, what's going on, not just because it's your favorite restaurant, not just because you know them or you know of them. Like as a collective, we should just say like, that's not okay. We are all human beings, and like I've said before, like no human being is legal. Let's stop that.
Period.
It's just, it is wild that so many people are concerned with what people are doing inside their homes and who they are as people and who they love and
Crazy.
who they want to be. And it's just like, oh, I just get filled with such rage over like where the state of the world is right now. And yeah, what you said was just so beautiful because like I think that how we get better is enough of us do those things. Get them at the polls. And I know that's not the answer like completely because I get this whole system, but it's a
Right.
start. It's a start.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that our band comes from a place of a lot of privilege, and we do try to acknowledge that when we can. And I'm really, really grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be back. But at the same time, I don't want to erase like what is going on outside. So if if I can give anyone advice, uh, show up for your local elections. That's really important.
It is. And it's too many people don't. And that's the thing. And I think now more than ever, it's so important to do that. We shouldn't have to worry also like in elections. Like we just had an election here for a governor. I was scared to death. I shouldn't, and again, I speak from privilege because I am someone that, yes, there are certain things that'll affect me, but at the end of the day, I'm at the top of anything. And I think that it's just we shouldn't live in a place like that where we have people have to be worried about their lives. And yeah, I'm just horrified, and I hope that 2026 somehow, some way, in these midterms that people get out. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure too. I clip that and save that for specifically around that time to be like, if this episode, because it'll air at the end of January, but like get out. Listen to this woman right now. Listen to
Hello.
everything that is said in this 30-second minute reel. Like I definitely I so appreciate you. Like everything you said today, but also
Thank
like
you.
just you as a person. Like you are someone like when you wanted to come back, I was like, yes. Not that I like I'm ever like, oh God, like when someone messages me, but I'm always just like, yes, I need this back on here right now. We need this,
Yeah.
and I need more like of that energy. So like
Really.
again, I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. It was really great talking to you again.
Yeah, this is again like it was one of those things when I heard the record too. I was just like, yeah, of course. Like we need to do this. Like I'm just so proud of you like as a band and
Thank
to hear
you.
this. And like I said, fingers crossed I get out to that Jersey show because I'm like, I want to go. I've never been to the Meat Locker, and that's an iconic venue around here. And
Can I drop our shows? Can I shout that out? Is that
yes, oh my God,
okay?
yeah, please do.
Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull up the flyers to remember where we're
No,
going.
you got it.
Um, cool. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. On January 30th, we're going to be in Philly and we're playing at Little Big Planet. And on January 31st, we're going to be in New York City at Bar Frida. And on February 1st, we're going to be in Montclair, New Jersey at the Meat Locker.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everybody, links below to get your tickets, all that good stuff,
please come.
and links to just like support too as well because like I always tell everybody, part of the reason I love doing the show is to send people and have people support the people I have on because it's like again, it's how we build that community. And I just think a lot of people, again, can learn from truly walking the walk from your band and you. So yeah, I can't say like enough. Like I love that I'm gonna drop the military gun next week, and then I think I'm taking a week off or something, and then it'll be you. So I hope I can send some of those
Thank you so
people
much for
your
having me
way.
back.
Oh my God.
Yay. I'm
Yes,
so
like
excited for you. And like,
oh,
I just feel like you're what I love about your podcast is like your message is so universal. I feel like it's something that everyone can relate to, which is why I feel like you're attracting all these people. You're attracting, Anthony Green and then
oh my God.
Military Gun and all these like lovely people that like really care. So I'm so happy to see you grow and your platform grow. You totally deserve that.